All right, welcome to the New Wave Supercross podcast. I'm your host, Austin. With me is my co host, Jordan. And we have two guests today. We have Josh and Dylan, who have been on the first and second episodes so far. And we're going to talk about Arlington Supercross, which was last Saturday. And probably the biggest story that happened, even before any of the main events or anything, was Adam Cianciarulo got hurt on this Dragon's Back section. He was going through it and he crashed and broke his collarbone. Does anybody want to talk about that a little bit?
Yes, I mean Dragon's Back. It was a sketchy section all night. It took out a few riders, but Adam he just going up like normal, and his front wheel missed that last roller whoop at the very top, and caught it with his back wheel and just went over the bars, and it looked pretty gnarly. And like you said, it broke his collarbone, and he'll be out for a few weeks at least.
And for the people that don't know, what happens whenever your front wheel misses on a section like that and it only makes contact with your rear wheel? It sends all your body momentum straight down, straight forward, and at that point, I mean, he was just along for the ride. He landed in the face of the triple, which was right after, and you could tell he was hurt almost instantly. Like, he was definitely holding his arm and shoulder, and it sucks because I know a lot of people were having him for the win and good finishes on our Supercross fantasy that we have going on, and a lot of people got 3 DNFs.
Yeah, that's facts.
Go ahead.
Oh no, this sucks because I really felt like he might have pulled off a win that night, maybe.
Yeah, 100%. I thought he had a good chance. I was rooting for him for sure, and then in the same section, it took out another big name rider who also got 2 DNFs, and that was Cooper Webb. And that one was a little more scary, I feel like.
Yeah, he landed directly on his lower back area, and man, it looked brutal. I was just glad to see his legs moving right away because it was bad.
Especially landing on the concrete too.
Yeah, that was. I was surprised whenever they came back like the next day saying that all that had happened was some deep bruising. Yeah. I was happy for him, but yeah, it looked like it was way worse. Like, it looked like he probably could have been paralyzed from that one for sure. It was not a good night for our fantasy picks, that's for sure.
For you guys.
5 DNFs in one weekend.
Yeah, 5 DNFs. I had 2, and the people that picked no-name riders, they were kind of the ones that got the best ones. Like, Dylan, you picked Justin Hill, and who else?
I picked
Vince
Justin
Friese.
Hill, Vince Friese, and then Malcolm Stewart, I think.
Yeah.
And all my guys finished, so I had a pretty good night.
Yeah.
Not tonight, though.
Not tonight. He has Osborne going in for tonight, and we got a report saying that he broke some ribs and punctured a lung and stuff, so he's definitely not going to be out there.
Oh, he'll figure out a way.
He's
no doubt about it. He'll figure out a way.
He's not going to figure out a way. I think it's safe to say I put my money on him not racing tonight with the punctured lung and broken ribs. But if you have faith, I guess that's all that matters.
Hey, you always got to have faith, man. All he has to do is at least get into the LCQ, which once he gets into the LCQ, he's going to be with a bunch of squids, and then last place points in the main is better than none. That's all I'm saying.
Last place points in the main is 0.
But you know what? He went out there and he did it.
Gave it his
He
all.
went out there and he gave it his all.
It is no points, so basically not riding at all would be the same as if he got last in the main.
Equivalent to Chad Reed's points.
Equivalent to Chad Reed's points for sure. My mom's probably the biggest Chad Reed fan, and we all know that, so we love talking shit on him as many times as we can, just to let her know that her man's old and he needs to retire.
Yeah.
Should have did that a couple seasons ago.
Yeah.
Dude's definitely washed up.
I got a lot of respect for him. He's a legend, though. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
he is a legend.
I mean, 2-time champ, like, he has accolades that'll go toe-to-toe with just about anybody. He's definitely... I mean, he was in an era where he had to deal with people like Kevin Windham, Ricky Carmichael, and James Stewart whenever they were all in their prime, and he went toe-to-toe with all of them.
Yeah.
I think I don't know. Chad Reed is. I mean, definitely should have retired. But I like him. I think he's a good rider, for sure.
The dude's barely struggling to make it into a main every time he races.
Somebody's got to be out there repping CBD.
Yeah. He's a movement. He started the CBD MD movement within Supercross. Like, how many people can say, like, oh, I got us a sponsorship for Supercross?
Fair enough.
Dean Wilson, but yeah, that's about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Dean Wilson definitely. I think he was the first, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think with Ignite and Dan Blazarian.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but Dean Wilson's kind of like in Chad Reed's position, struggling to make the main every week.
He's been doing
No,
good
he's
the
been
past
doing
couple weeks.
good.
That dude is washed up.
No.
Ever since his 13th year of 250s, he's been washed up.
I don't know if you actually know what you're talking about.
Oh yeah.
I think he got like 6 last week. didn't he?
Yeah. He got 6th in the Triple Crown, but he's a nobody.
We'll see. We'll see how it turns out.
Yeah.
He didn't. I mean, he just started picking up the past couple weekends, though. I think
For sure.
It's been, it's
I
been
he
want to
had
say
that-
the week before, didn't he get? I think he got 6th overall too, or something, 7th. So not too bad.
Well, I think he's coming back from injury, too. Like, he had that injury, I think it was... I think it was at the Monster Energy Cup where he, like, landed on his back and, like, broke a bunch of stuff or something like that. I think it was then or something like that. So, for him to be out there doing what he's doing now is... I mean, it's good. I've always liked Dean Wilson. He was probably one of my favorite 250 riders whenever he was out there.
Yeah.
And one of my other favorite riders on 250s was Jason Anderson.
Oh yeah.
And then now he's on 450s, and he's causing quite the stir up in the 450 class here recently. There was Justin Hill, Malcolm Stewart, and Justin Brayton, who all came to the AMA and said that basically didn't go to the AMA. They just made a post saying that they didn't like how Jason Anderson was riding and how dirty and aggressive he was. And I mean, we all watched it. I mean, he's definitely aggressive. I mean, we watched him for how long now? But I don't think he's ever overly dirty. I think he's just aggressive. And I don't know, like, did you all see where he took out Justin Hill in the turn before the big tabletop for
Popper.
the finish line?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it was... I know you saw Josh, so what do you think about it?
Yeah, Jason Anderson, he's always known for being really aggressive. So I mean, I didn't have a problem with it. I like him riding like that. I like his riding style. So I didn't see a problem. I don't really remember the other 2 crashes, but I don't think that one was too aggressive. I guess everyone could ride like that. So.
And what about you, Jordan? Because I know at one point you didn't like Jason Anderson for a while.
that was back when the him and Weston Pike thing a few years ago.
Oh
but-
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But, no, I mean I don't see a problem with some riders kind of being known for being aggressive though. Like as long as you're not going too crazy, but I don't know. I mean just him and Bam Bam kind of know not to mess with him.
Yeah. 100%. Well, so Jason Anderson actually had a really good point. He had gotten talked to by the AMA or something like that and made a post about it. It was a video, actually. He was in like a press day conference or something like that. And they were talking about the Justin Brayton pass where Jason Anderson block passed Justin Brayton, where Justin Brayton then went off the track and then took Jason Anderson out in the next turn last week. And so he was talking about that, and he was like, well, whenever I took Justin Brayton off the track, he had gained a position or two to come back and then take me out. And he was like, he wasn't penalized for it, didn't get docked or anything. And then I guess there was an incident where Jason Anderson got pushed off the track, and he actually lost a couple of positions, and then the AMA docked him for advancing or something like that.
Yeah.
Which I don't recall it, but I mean, if that did happen, I understand why Jason Anderson was mad, because he actually called them out and said that they sucked as a rule-making organization, and he said that their calls were whack. Which, I mean, I think some of them are definitely accurate. Like, I mean, I think sometimes they get calls completely wrong, but
I think the pass was in the last corner of the last lap, and he got taken off the track, and I think he jumped into the whoops late. Like he went around to some of the whoops and then jumped in.
oh,
So I think that's why they docked him. But I don't really think he gained any positions out of it. So yeah, I do think it sucks for him.
The AMA's busted, dude. They don't know what they're doing. they're busted.
how so?
They just all the calls that they make, dude. They just don't make any sense. It's like they're not even paying attention to what's going on. They don't know what they're doing.
Oh God.
I mean, I think that they definitely do know what they're doing. That's why they've been in place for like the last 50 years. But yeah, I definitely agree with some of their calls being, I don't know, out of the blue, I guess. Like,
Yeah.
like Ferrandis's whole deal where he got probation for that. Like, I mean, I think like a 12-month probation maybe is a little excessive for all that shit. But
That's
Agree.
that's about the only time they knew what they were doing. I totally agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
Well, other than Jason Anderson calling out the AMA, like he's been riding really good recently.
I agree.
Especially now with Cooper Webb and Adam Cincerello, I think he, helping battle for a win now.
Well, I mean, he's already won a title in the 450
Well, yeah,
class.
I don't think he's won a moto this year yet, has he?
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
he's won a title at one point, so there's no reason why he can't
Yeah.
at least get moto wins. But I think it's coming.
I
He's
agree.
got the speed. He's
Yeah.
got the speed for sure.
He's winning tonight, no matter what.
You
I can
think
see
so?
it.
I
can see it.
feel like if he gets out there and gets a start, I feel like whenever I was doing our fantasy stuff and I was writing down like the positions that he got, he went like 3-5, 3-5, 3-5 for like the first like 4 or 5 rounds.
Yeah, very quiet. But still
Real
got it
quiet,
done, yeah.
but he was getting podiums, and that was crazy.
I think it looks like he's around 42 points down from Eli right now, so it's still, I mean, I don't know. Not to wish
Something-
for
yeah,
something
something
to
major.
happen to
Yeah.
make it up, but I mean, it's still half the season, but
Oh,
it's
yeah.
a lot of points.
And let's talk about that. Eli Tomac with the points lead.
He's
That
on
is-
a roll, yeah.
I think this could be his year to get his first Supercross title, because everyone knows that the Supercross title has been probably the biggest monkey on his back ever. Because
Yeah.
I mean, he's won every outdoor title that he's pretty much entered for the
Yeah.
last couple of years. But
Yeah, he's always the fastest on the track, in my opinion.
oh yeah, he's
Can't get a start sometimes, which sucks for him, but
I think he's gonna start riding over his head and totally crash out. That's
That's
what
awesome.
that's what I
Bold.
vision.
bold.
Ken's only 7 points down, too, so, I mean,
Yeah,
if
he's
he
not bad
gets
with
on a roll, too,
Yeah.
get some little shots, and
I think they were 1 and 2 in time qualifying today too. So
well, that's gonna be fun to watch.
yeah, it's turning out to
I
be
think
good.
Roxon's got it, the championship, all day.
Hope so.
I
I'm
think
with
Jordan-
you.
that's Jordan's guy.
It's been a long time coming for
that
that
dude,
dude. He's
especially-
been through way too much.
Yeah, especially those injuries, he deserves.
He
it.
deserves it
Eli
more than any
deserves
of
it,
them,
too,
yeah.
but
Yeah,
They both.
love
I
to
think
see
you
it.
might be a little biased, Jordan, because I know how much you love Roxon.
No, I mean I know. No, Eli's just they're
Yeah.
just as fast as each other. Like if Eli
Oh,
gets
yeah.
a whole shot, I don't know that Kim can pass him.
But Ken Roxon did hold him off for 3 mains in
Oh
the
yeah, the
Triple
first triple
Crown.
crown. He, went one
He
one
held
one.
him off. Like that was impressive. Like I was like, Kenny's here to play, dude. Like I was excited for the guy.
I don't know what happened this past weekend. I think he got like 8th or 9th in the second moto. Ken did.
Yeah.
It's like just not making any passes through the pack and
Yeah.
just kind of settled. It looks like.
And the bad thing is like most of the time whenever I hear that Ken is like a real quiet person, like he doesn't really share too much of what's going on with him personally, like with the motocross and supercross and stuff. So I feel like he'd be the kind of guy, like if he was battling like an illness where he like can't even get out of bed hardly, he wouldn't tell anyone. And so
Yeah.
with that being said, like I think there's a good possibility that, he could have been sick or feeling under the weather, which caused him not to ride good. And then he just went out there and had, a bad Triple Crown night because, for whatever reason. But
If that is the case, like I respect that type of. I respect that because not everybody. You don't always gotta make excuses if you do bad. Even if there is an excuse, just move on.
was it was it Ryan Dungey, like in St. Louis, several years ago. He was riding with a broken collarbone and no one knew it. He went out there and got like third. Just because like that's like another example of people that don't want the other racers to know what's going on with them because then they appear as weak and stuff like that.
Yes, that reminds me of Ryan Villapoto too, way back when he was just like way under the weather, just sick, and he didn't even race. He raced or anything. He went straight to the LCQ, and I think he won that night.
Yeah,
too.
yeah, he won the
I do remember
LCQ
that,
and then won
yeah.
the main.
I
Yeah,
remember that.
and that was a bold move because I think he was like the points leader in contention for the title or something.
Yeah.
But only Ryan Villapoto can do something like that.
That's the man right there.
Ryan Villapoto, that is probably the best guy to ever get on a dirt bike, honestly.
Speaking of Villapoto, dude, whenever he came back for the Monster Cup, I was really shocked he didn't break top 10, or like barely broke top 10. I thought he was going to come out and just kill them all.
Well, I do wish that he would have done that, but I think after being out of that sort of mentality and program for so long, like even taking a year off, I feel like he would not be even half of as fast as what he was. Plus, he's probably like, oh, I got kids and stuff like that. I don't need to go out there and get hurt trying to race at a level that I'm not comfortable with, or,
I feel like that just shows, too, how physically demanding it is and how in shape these riders are, these top-tier riders.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, even people that are getting terrible finishes in the main, or like local people that are barely making the night show or barely making the main, we look at them and we're like, dude, those people are so fast. Like how is someone that much faster than them where they're putting them down like 5 laps, which is crazy.
Yeah.
In the 250 class, there was a whole bunch of action going on. Like every single main event was action. I'll take it back to the very first main event. Jordan, you know what I'm talking about. Do you want to say what happened?
Yeah. Well, first off, I would like to say I said RJ Hampshire would win, and Austin was doubting me. But no, Chase Sexton was definitely faster, and I think RJ knew it. So right after the finish line, he he was hugging the inside, not completely, but he was like hugging the inside motorist line, and RJ just came up under him and gave him a nice bump and put him down.
And Sexton was not happy.
Yeah, he was not happy. They ended up shaking hands, but he had said in the interview that he was
going to get him back.
Yeah, he's going to get him back. So
I think the only reason why Sexton shook his hands because he knew that he had won. There's nothing else he could do. Like, you took me out, and I still came back and won the overall. Like, there's nothing. I think that was the biggest sort of payback he could get on him.
I agree.
Because it's like, you took me out trying to beat me, yet I still won. Yeah, I think that was huge for that was pretty gangster. And he I actually really liked Hampshire's setup for the pass. Like, he jumped that finish line, and the way he did it, it looked like he went from the outside and just jumped to the inside, like literally right in front of the corner. So I mean, he had, even if Sexton would have went as far inside as he could, I think Hampshire could have still snuck it in there. And I really liked the setup that he did.
Yeah.
And Hampshire was riding good. Like, he was riding good all night. Like, whenever you said Hampshire for the win, I was definitely doubting you. I was like, I don't think he's going to win because, I mean, the last couple of years when he was on Geico Honda, he's just kind of, like, he was mediocre and he was always crashing. But, I mean, on this new Husqvarna, he looks like he's doing really good.
And he also, it was either the second or third moto, I think, when RJ made that same pass on Jordan Smith in that same corner.
Corner.
Yeah, but he didn't take him out. Jordan Smith just whiskey throttled a little bit, but
yeah,
I mean, he knew where to put the pass. So
yeah, I mean, he had his passing point, and he was like, if I'm close enough to you on this section, then that's where I'm gonna make it. Can't be mad about it or anything. Like, he rode good, and he made passes that he needed to make to get into the lead, and I respect that sort of mentality. Just, you got to show them that you're here to race and here to win.
Dude definitely made it known that no matter what, if there's just a slight possibility that he could go inside of someone on that turn, he made it happen, no doubt.
Yeah. He definitely made his presence felt. And you're talking about he also passed Jordan Smith. Jordan Smith, first off, I didn't know how he got the Monster Energy ride with Mitch Payton. I feel like Mitch Payton usually picks his riders very good riders. Like, he usually picks really good riders. And Jordan Smith is a really good rider. However, he's always crashing. I mean, that's just a known fact of Jordan Smith. Like, he always crashes. And I think he was like towards the back of the pack in one of the mains, and he literally jumped and landed on Jake Owens over the finish line.
Dude's a squid.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Dude's a squid.
He is. He's all over the place. Like, well, I'll bring it back a couple of years to the Monster Energy Cup whenever he was in the 250 All-Stars. And I think we all remember whenever he was going through that roller section and whiskey throttled it and jumped and about killed himself on that section where his like legs were basically like Superman off the back of the bike almost.
He almost saved that one.
Yeah, he almost did, but still he was in the lead and was pushing it too far and almost went down pretty bad. That was a high-speed section.
Yeah. I mean, like, we know he has, speed just like any other of those top riders in the East Coast, and I think if he could stay up, he could win. But, I mean, when's the last time you've ever known of a rider that's, known for crashing and, they just stop, they keep the speed but just stop crashing?
No, never. Like, James Stewart, probably one of the fastest people ever, but we knew every single time he was going to ride, he was probably going to crash. Yeah. And, I mean, look at where he's at now. He doesn't ride anymore.
Malcolm Stewart kind of changed it, though. The past, 2 or 3 years, he was sitting there crashing every race. He hadn't really crashed once this year.
I will say about Malcolm Stewart, he went from crashing and battling for wins to not crashing, and now he's in the top 10. Like, barely breaking top 10. So I feel like, it's not so much that he's changing it. I think he's just finding the pace where he isn't crashing. Mm-hmm. I don't think he's riding as fast as he can. I don't think he's trying as hard. Well, I'm not saying trying as hard. I don't think he's pushing himself. So without pushing himself, he's not making mistakes. Without making mistakes, he's not crashing. Or it could just be the simple fact that he just, everyone's gotten so much faster and he's settled into a pace that he's comfortable with, and that's making the difference. I think he's just trying to stay healthy and, get at least the whole season under his belt, maybe.
Yeah. So, earlier today, Todd was saying that he's been seeing a lot of comments on, motorcycle pages saying that the tracks are getting too tough and just too technical, and there's never, been this many top riders getting hurt. I mean, you think it's just because they're riding at such a fast pace now, or you think it's the track too, the technical?
I think it's definitely a little bit of both, because they're trying to make the tracks better and better each year, but in all reality, they're just making them more messed up, in my opinion. But the bikes have gotten so much faster, and the guys are riding way faster too. Like, back in the day, the tracks were always they looked super messed up, but they were always the best ones, you know?
Yeah. I think that I think that the tracks are definitely getting more technical. Like, I've never seen, there's so many sections where people are, busting out quads and stuff like that more than I've probably ever seen. And it's partially because the bikes are so much faster. But then again, it's how they're building the track. They're building it for different lines and stuff like that. And, I mean, some of these sections are very unforgivable. Like,
those long whoop sections, too. Those look a little
long.
sketchy. Yeah, I wasn't a fan of those.
Well, last week in Arlington, they said it was 50 yards.
Yeah, that was a little ridiculous for me.
If I hit a 50-yard whoop section, I wouldn't.
Yeah,
I wouldn't, yeah.
Doing that every single lap for, what are they, 10-minute mains? 15. Or 15-minute mains? Yeah, that's just, everyone was jumping.
You'd see me accidentally mess up and go on the side of the track every single lap.
Go around them.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I couldn't do a 50-yard whoop set. Hell, I couldn't even do a 50-yard rhythm section right now. No. I'm not at that point. Probably won't be.
Just hitting 10 whoops in arena cross got me
gassed.
Yeah, dude.
This dude's gassed. I don't know. I think that they're trying to make it better for racing, I guess, with like all the different sections and rhythms that you can do and stuff like that. But I think it comes to a point where it's like, all right, you know we've built all these tracks, we've built them, so many different ways. Like, what are we gonna do next? Like, let's make one section where it's just, like let's make a Dragon's Back before the triple because that would be cool, and then a bunch of people go out there and get seriously hurt on it.
Yeah.
That Dragon's Back was like 6 whoops long too. That thing was probably the longest one I've ever seen.
Yeah. I think they need to bring Travis Pastrana back in and build a track like he
Yeah.
did that one year for St. Louis. That was cool.
Yeah.
I think they need to have a right hand start or go back to like switch lane start or the split lane
Yeah, that
starts.
was cool. Yeah.
The split
Those
lane
ones
starts
were
are
cool.
cool.
Yeah.
Well, I was even like I have DVDs of like Bar to Bar 2005 and 2006 and 2007. The tracks back then looked so much like they looked so different. However, it still provided like so much. Like you have a series called Bar to Bar, where the tracks were totally different than what they are from today, and they provided such good racing that they can have a whole 17 round CD clip or DVD clip for people that are just racing bar to bar. Like that's
Those tracks seemed so much more sketchy back then than the ones now, but it seemed like all the dudes were way smoother back then too, in my opinion.
yeah. I think that I think they're basically just trying to get it to a point where it's like, if you're not the top of the top, then you're not going to be able to ride our tracks. Like really, I think it's. I don't know if they're trying to weed out some of the people that think that they can ride Supercross and like going out there or something, but I mean everyone knows that Supercross is nothing to mess around with. Like that is a whole another animal, and those tracks are crazy. Like if you've never been there, those tracks are crazy.
They're trying to keep the goons out, but they're making the top riders goons.
Stevie Gardner.
Oh,
my
God.
gosh.
Could you imagine that dude in Supercross?
No,
He'd make the main.
That dude
if you make the sketchiest track in the world, maybe he'd make the main because he'd just be out there whipping it over everything.
I bet you inside of a dome that dude would still find a tree to hit.
That's
That's funny. Oh.
watch him watch this now because I posted on my Facebook.
Dude, I hope he does. Bring back Steve Garner, the Flying Hawaiian. Bring him back.
Have him on.
I don't know if I could handle having him on. I think I'd laugh too much. That dude has some shit to say, let me tell you.
Bring back Awful Knawful, dude. That dude was the GOAT for sure. Best racing I ever watched was watching that dude out on the track.
He definitely brought more people to the sidelines in the pro class.
For sure.
So, have you seen any of the standings for the qualifying?
Do you remember what they were?
I know in 250 the fast qualifier was Chase Sexton, and then 450s was Eli.
Eli?
Yeah.
He's gonna crash.
Good old-
He's gonna be out, dude.
No.
I do think when I saw it, I think Chase and Shane were like in between a couple tenths of a second or something.
Shane McElrath's kind of put on the power this year.
Dude,
Yeah,
that
he was
first
good.
main he won by like 12 seconds or something like that.
Yeah, I
think
don't think
the
Chase
Yam-
had a good start though, but yeah,
No.
he did.
I think Yamaha's definitely where he needs to be because isn't this his last year of 250s?
Yeah,
Isn't that
it
what
is.
they said?
Yeah.
This is his senior year of 250s?
Mhm.
Well, I mean, he doesn't have to move up to the 450s.
I think if he gets 100 points, he does, or
Yeah,
something
he has
like
to.
that.
If he
Oh,
gets
really?
a certain amount
Yeah.
of points, he has to move up. But
Something
I
like
think
that. I saw that.
I think the Yamaha team is definitely where he needs to be.
So in the second qualifying session in the 250, Chase Sexton put it on him, man. He had a 50.4, and Shane McElrath was in second with a 51.04.
Oh,
So-
dang.
Yeah, you really have a
Yeah,
gap
he
on
poured
him.
it on
And
that
then
one.
RJ third, Garrett Marchbanks fourth, and Jeremy Martin fifth.
Okay.
I can see Garrett Marchbanks up there battling with those guys for a win. I want to see him get a good start though.
Yeah.
He's been like 10th, 11th, and all all the races so far. So
Yeah,
I think if
off
he gets
the
a good
gate,
start,
yeah.
he'll be up there.
You know who looked good? You know who looked good last weekend was Joey Crown. Looked pretty good last
Yeah, I was
weekend.
impressed.
Yeah.
Don't quote me. I don't know what happened, but I think he got hurt. Didn't he?
Yeah, I think I saw the video. He cased a section, ended up in the spider net or something like that.
Jeez, that sucks for him. Yeah, he looked good last weekend.
Well, I saw him in one of the mains. I don't remember which one, but I think I saw someone off the stars, like the second or third corner. Someone came in and took out his front wheel. I saw that too. But yeah, we're all excited. We're all gonna go over to a friend's house and we're all gonna watch the Supercross tonight.
Yeah.
So we'll have a grand old time tonight, and we'll be able to talk about this race next Saturday. Hopefully it'll be just as much fun and interesting, and hopefully we have some good races we can talk about.
Hopefully, Jalik Swole makes a main event tonight because he didn't 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I want to see Jimmy Dakotas at least get a top 3.
Hey, remember a couple years ago on the privateer bike when he was tearing it up?
That dude.
I remember
that
his
dude's a god.
two-stroke series.
Yeah.
His two-stroke series was insane.
That dude is a god for sure. He needs to get up there though. Throw a sick nasty over the finish line, something like that. That dude can whip the crap out of a bike, man.
Speaking of whipping, there was a video I actually saw on my Instagram of Cole Seeley. So Cole Seeley used to race in the 450s on Geico Honda or whatever Honda team it was, and HRC, yeah. And he recently retired after he broke a bone. I think he broke his femur in the Florida Supercross.
That dude's washed up too.
No, that dude's pretty good. But anyways, he's out there in the hills riding with all those guys like Tyler Berriman and Axel Hodges and all them. And he threw a nasty whip over this like big self-made jump that they made. They went out there with a couple of shovels, and he just like, it was probably like a 60, 70 foot jump, and just threw it completely sideways over it. I was just like, that's crazy.
I can't wait to see that dude's pit bike that he's building. That thing's gonna be so dope.
Yeah.
Speaking of Axel Hodges, though, that man has like the best bike skills I've ever seen. It's
Dude.
out of this world.
He could have saved Adam Cianciarulo's wreck. That's the only guy in the world that could have saved it.
He would have turned that thing into an oppo, dude.
He would have made Cooper Webb's where he's, endoing into the face of the triple and then jumps the triple. He probably could have turned it into a front flip or something and gone on to win.
That dude's been practicing his backflips lately.
That dude's crazy good. Like he's.
Did you guys see his alley-oop on Instagram?
I saw that, yeah.
That thing was insane.
Alley-oop.
I guess that's his new trick that he made on the quarter pipe.
Yeah.
But that thing was sick.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that dude's got crazy bike. Like, I've never seen someone go to, I think it's Paula Raceway, and literally just do a wheelie over the whole track while he's, fourth gear wide open.
Yeah.
That dude's super fast, but I guarantee you if you put him on a track with, like, all the big-name guys, privateer skill level.
No, I don't think so. I don't think he could. I don't think he's trained and all that stuff to like run that pace for the whole time. But I think he'd be able to hold his own. He's got more bike skill than probably anybody else out there, like for real.
Yeah.
He'd be the type of dude to be in last, just throwing sick nasties all over the track and wheeling the whole track.
I would love to see him wheelie up the face of one of those triples, though.
I don't know.
And then do the nose wheelie on the landing of it, like he usually does. That'd be crazy.
Yeah. Mad skills it.
Mad skills it.
Oh, God.
Well, I think that's just about going to wrap up this episode. Josh, Dylan, thanks for coming over. Jordan,
Of course.
thanks
Anytime.
for as always.
I live here. Of course.
Yeah, just knock on the door. Dylan, get down here. Podcast episode 3. Yeah, but if y'all like this, go ahead and give us a like, leave a comment, subscribe, and we'll catch you next time on the New Wave Supercross podcast.